In this video, we're going to study formula. More specifically, we're going to change the subject of, in the first instance, simple formula. If you're revising, you can pause the video and have a go at question 1, A to E, and then question 2. That's it. Okay, if I was going through this with the class, it would be a lot slower, and I'd use equations as examples as we go through it, but we'll just see if you can pick this up a bit quicker, and if you can't, you need to see your teacher for a more detailed explanation. So we have to make x the subject of the formula. That means we need it to be x equals, not x plus a. So when you make something the subject, it means that will be that letter, then an equal sign, then everything else on the other side. So when you solve an equation, you would find something like x equals 2. We're doing the same thing, same idea here, only we won't get x equal a number, we'll get x equals some algebraic expression on the right hand side. So in the first case, if I was going to try and find out what x is, I'd need to get rid of that plus a. So I'd have to take a off the left hand side, and I would just be left with x on the left. But just like equations, whatever you do to one side, you've got to do the same thing to the other side so it balances out. So I'd have to take a off the right hand side, and I would get b minus a. I can't do that calculation obviously because they're letters. I don't know how to, unless there were numbers I could work it out, but that is your final answer there. There's no need to do anything else with that. Part B, we've got x multiplied by c to give cx, and that is equal to d. So if x is multiplied by c, to get it on its own, what you'd need to do is divide both sides by that c. So the d is divided by c, and the best way to write that is d over c. Like so. So x equals d over c. In part C, we've got ex, so x is times by e, then f is subtracted, and that's equal to g. So with most cases here, really, you want to start as far away from the x as possible and deal with those terms first. So this minus f, we could get rid of that to begin with. We can't really get rid of the e because the e is only multiplied by x. The whole side isn't multiplied by e. So we work with the f first of all. How would I eliminate it? I'd have to add f to give me 0. So on the left hand side, I'd be left with ex. And so it balances. I add f to the right hand side, and I'd have g plus f. You then need to divide both sides by e, because x is multiplied by e. So when you divide it by e, you would be left with x. We've got to do the same thing on the other side. So how do we write that? Dividing by e, you just write the right hand side over e, and that means all divided by e. Part D starts to get tricky here. We've got quite a few terms here. We're looking for x to be the subject, so this term here. Now what I don't like about it is it's negative, and would probably prefer just to make that a positive. But yeah, I think it's just an easier route to go down. So I'm going to add ix to both sides just to make this a bit easier. And actually what it does, on the left hand side, you would just have h plus 3j. On the right hand side, you've got k plus ix. So actually it was with two terms, and now it's only with one term. So that actually does simplify it as well as make it positive. So the x is multiplied by I, and then k is added on. I'd want to get rid of that k and subtract k from both sides. Now these letters are all different, so there's no simplifying that can be done. You just have to write them out as additions and subtractions. Now we've got ix equals all of this. So to get x and so on, you divide through by the number in front, which in this case is I, which represents a number, and x would be the whole left hand side, h plus 3j minus k all over I. Part E, we've got x. Now it's multiplied by m and l, but you can think of that as just one number. Okay. So for example, if I do go numerical here, if you had 3 times 2 times x equals n, essentially you've got 6x and you want to divide by 6. But dividing by 6 is the same as dividing by 3 and 2. So whatever's in front of the x, we can just divide through by that. And that will get x on its own. So we're going to divide the left by lm and the right by lm. And that gives x equals n divided by lm. Okay, still the same objective, but it's a different exercise if you're using the textbook on this one. We now have to make y the subject of the formula. Doesn't change anything apart from where we were working with x, we're working with y. Technique still stays the same. In this question, we've got brackets, and there's two different approaches you could take, but I would recommend you expand that bracket out. P times y is py, and p times minus q is minus pq. So the y is multiplied by p, and then minus pq is, or pq is taken from it. We can eliminate that pq, or get rid of it from the left hand side, away from the y, by adding pq to both sides. That would leave you with py on the left hand side, and the right hand side would be rs plus pq. So we almost have y as a subject, but the y is multiplied by p, so to eliminate that p, we've got to divide through by p. We have to do the same thing on both sides, so we'd end up with the right hand side rs plus pq, and we divide that by p. It should make you aware that's a correct answer. In some textbooks they might simplify it a little bit more or make it look a little bit different, but that is absolutely fine. So you may want to ask your teacher. Sometimes you might think you've got it wrong, but it's just been written differently. So the textbook could look like this as your answer, and you've got this. It's not wrong, don't worry. What they've done is they've divided the rs by p, and they can't do that. But then they divided the pq by p, and they can actually simplify the p there, and the p eliminates. Okay, part B. We're trying to make y the subject, so it's divided by t, and then u is taken off. We can first of all deal with that u, add the u to both sides. So we've just got y divided by t, and that equals v plus u. So before we've always had a number y multiplied by a number, or x multiplied by a number. This time we've got that y divided by t. So to undo or reverse that process, or to get rid of that t, we have to multiply both sides by t. So if y is divided by t, but then multiplied by t, you would just be left with y. Now, how do we multiply the v plus u by t? Well, because there's two terms there, what you would do is put that in a bracket, and then you can multiply the whole bracket by t. That's the correct answer as well, or alternatively, you could write that as tv plus tu, but it's fine as it is. It actually is quite neat with the bracket. Part C, trying to make y the subject. We can't get rid of that w, which is sort of similar to part B. I'll just show you it. The u was sitting on its own, so we could add the u to both sides. It wasn't interfering with this division. but the w is inside the division, so we can't get rid of that w straight away. First thing we have to deal with here is that division. The full left hand side is divided by x, and because the full left hand side is divided by x, we can multiply both sides by x. We get y plus w, and that equals xz. And then that's quite straightforward now. To get y on its own, you take w off both sides. Okay, on to part D. This time it's even more tricky because we've got y on the denominator of the fraction. But recommendations when there are fractions is to get rid of them. Can't always get rid of them straight away. Like in this example, we had to deal with what was sort of further away from the division first of all. But if we're left with just a division, like here, then that's what we want to get rid of. And we can do the same here. We want to get rid of this here on the denominator, so we'd multiply both sides by y minus b. I suppose we could put that in a bracket. The left hand side would now just be a. The right hand side would be c. And then it's also multiplied by y minus b to balance out. So it looks like that. You now have two options, but I would recommend expanding that bracket. And then this term doesn't have any y's in it, so it can be eliminated or removed from the right hand side by adding cb. So we'd have a plus cb on the left and cy on the right. We then can divide by the number of y's, which is c, and we get y equals, it will be y equals on the right. I'm just going to put it on the left, doesn't make a difference. So it's y equals, and then the left hand side is a plus cb, and it's divided by c. That's a correct final answer, or equivalently you might see in some textbooks a over c plus b. Part E, we have to make b the subject. So there's a lot going on here. I would just like to quickly get rid of that half by just doubling. If you double the left, you've got 2a, and if you double the right, you'd have a plus b. And then there's an h at the end, which means that the bracket is multiplied by h. We're used to having the h on maybe in front of the bracket, but it's the same thing. It'd be h times a, which is ha, plus h times b, which is hb, and that's equal to 2a. The b is the subject here, so we can get rid of that ha. It's not interfering with the hb. So 2a minus ha equals hb, and then we can divide both sides by h. To get b equals 2a minus ha, sorry, 2a minus ha all over h. Now that is also has its equivalence. You could divide by h, so an alternative answer would be 2a over h minus a. Now that's a familiar equation. It's the area of a trapezium, and actually if you reverse it just using, I suppose, a bit more logic instead of just the process that we've been taught, to find the area of a trapezium, you add a to the b, you then multiply your result by h, and then you'd half your answer, and that would get you the area. So if you reverse that process, we had the half, so the reverse of that is doubling it. We then we multiplied by h, so we would divide by h, and then we added the a to b, so we'd have to reverse that and take the a off. And you can see how that is equivalent to this one here.